Hi everyone, this is Rick. Why does God hate divorce? This is the last of my series of Men and Women, Why We Were Created by God, and for what purpose, and how that applies or reflects in our salvation through Jesus Christ. If you haven't watched the first 3 videos, I'll link them down below. I recommend you watch those because it all kind of flows in unison. I think it does anyway. I tend to ramble, so maybe it doesn't, but the truth is in there in the spirit. But why does he hate divorce? Because to divorce yourself means to be separated from. You can't be separated unless you're united to begin with. And men and women were created to be united and become as one, so that we could have union with God through his salvation in Jesus Christ. And divorce is symbolic, a metaphor, and a reflection of that spiritual, demonic deception that Satan constantly tries to impose on mankind for sins and sexual sins and other activities that can separate us from God. And that's why God hates us so much. And by the way, Paul talks about the great falling away in Thessalonians. That literally means to divorce oneself from. The great falling away in the end times, which, I'm not going to get into the end times. So God gave me some truth on that, but he's only given me bits and pieces, and I'm not going to try to discuss it or fill in the blanks there unless he gives it to me. But Christ cannot return until the great falling away happens. And that is to divorce oneself from. Now, you cannot fall away from God unless you're united with him in the Spirit to begin with, unless you're united with Christ, unless you're living in the Spirit. And as Peter said, it is better to never know Christ at all than to know him and to be separated from him. And Jesus said, it is better for a man to never know God than to know him. It is worse for him because it is like being thrown into the depths of the ocean with a millstone tied around his neck. Basically, once you're separated from God after being united, that's it. There's no more salvation for you. The blood has been paid. You accept the payment, and then you reject the payment. There's nothing else. This is why God hates divorce so much. And all those who have the doctrine of once saved, always saved, need to pray on this and understand this, because you can divorce yourself from God. God will never initiate the divorce, but you can. That is a deception of the Satan, to think that you can not ever be divorced from God, even if you fall back into sin. Until next time, God bless.